I always said there's simple solutions to complex problems. Now we got a problem in Israel and Ukraine. We got a common denominator, the dictator of Russia and the Prime Minister of Israel. Now what do these two men have in common? They've both been in power too long. They both changed the Constitution to benefit their ideas. Now these two people alone are totally for what's going on in Israel and Ukraine. These two people only. If it weren't for them, this wouldn't be happening. And what else do they have in common? They sacrificed their own people to get the opportunity to move forward with their ideas. Dictator of Russia, he bombed 4 apartment buildings with Russians inside and blamed it on the C.M.A.W. Republic. And then that gave him the authority to invade the country, destroy the real estate, and torture the people. We go to Israel. There's no doubt in my mind that Israel knew that they were getting ready to be invaded. And what do? They let them cross the border and kill enough people and get enough evidence so Prime Minister of Israel can move forward with his ideas. If you see what's happening in Ukraine and Israel right now, all the destruction of property and the torturing of the people involved, both similar. And they're both caused by 2 individual people, the dictator of Russia and the Prime Minister of Israel. Without these 2 men, this wouldn't have happened this way. I'm trying to tell the American people and the rest of the world, these 2 men, I'll describe them this way. They're psychopaths. They get great pleasure, enjoyment, and gratification out of destroying the countries, power over the people, and move on. In the footsteps of these 2 men, there's nothing but tragedies, expense to the whole world. It's time the rest of the world takes these 2 men out of power, and so we can start turning things around. These 2 men are evil, and you never show them any remorse for what they do. Watch them when they give a speech. They'll always be powerful, stand up there and I'll do it again. I'll show them people. And they're the 2 responsible men for what's going on today. They both need to be removed from power as quick as we can. If I were president, this is what I would do. I would let the dictator of Russia know that he's got to get his troops out of Ukraine, because he knows if we challenge him, he don't have a chance. But what did we do? He gave us the opportunity. He lined up all his troops on the border and gave us plenty of time. And what did my president do? We're not going to put boots on the ground. That's an invasion. We could have stopped it right then and there. The dictator is afraid of NATO and the United States. We just let it go by. Then we let another opportunity we passed up. Zelensky says, give me the equipment, I'll win the war, and you won't have to put boots on the ground. You couldn't have asked for a better opportunity to win a war and not put any of your military at risk. At this point, Putin caused it, and we could have prevented it. Now let's move on to Israel. They knew that they were going, the Prime Minister knew that they were going to be invaded, but he gave them enough room to kill enough people and do enough damage, then he could have the right to do and go through with his ideas. Look at him, C.M.A.W, the dictator of Russia. Start bombing, destroying, and causing human suffering beyond belief. Right now, they won't even let the vehicles with all the humanitarian aid that is sitting in trucks. Can't even get to the victims caused by the man, one little man. I know if I was president, I would tell that little old man that he's not getting any support from the United States. He's on his own, and we'll see how he comes out. And I want everybody to look at Israel on the map. I've got a map there of the United States. I want to show you how small it is. I want to show you, I'm from Indiana. We 4.2 times bigger than Israel. We give Israel billions and billions of dollars since World War II, furnish them with all kind of military equipment and what they've done with it. They're always wanting us to bomb Iran. You can tell them, say what you want, but Israel, in my opinion, is not our best friend. And it's funny that all my representatives always say the same thing. That makes me nervous. Israel is our greatest ally, and we got to protect them 100%. Look it up and find out how much campaign financing they all get in to make sure and get elected. If you are not positive of Israel getting a federal office or getting elected, is pretty slim. That's so much for the United States and Israel. I'm just telling you, I don't really know in the overall picture what we got in return for over $300 billion that we give Israel. It's time for him to be on his own, and then we can talk smart talk with what Israel would like to do. But as long as him is in power and the dictator of Russia is in power, they're going to just keep on doing what they do. Now I hear people saying, how does these men think? They're very simple-minded if you really pay attention to them. You know what they're going to do. You know what their next move is. And you know they'll do anything possible to get their way. Now, what do you think goes in their mind at the end of the day? When they sit down, do you think, oh boy, I shouldn't have killed them kids. I shouldn't have cut their water off. I blowed up their homes. They ain't got no place to go. Do you think that's what goes through their mind? If you do, you're crazier than I am. That's where they get their pleasure, enjoyment, and gratification to themselves. Look what I've done. Look at the power I have over the people. Look at them. They let me get by with it. I'll teach them all. Man, look at me, the power I got over the people. I'll cut their water off. I'll cut their heat off in Ukraine and freeze them to death. There are graves everywhere. Dead people everywhere. In Ukraine, Russia has lost over 200,000 of their own people because of this one little man. Now Israel, there's a lot of people in Israel that knows their leader is wrong, but he's like the dictator of Russia. He has too much power over them, and he stays in power. But as long as he's in power, and as long as if the dictator of Russia's in power, they're going to keep on doing what they do. Any psychologist will tell you sociopath or a serial killer will do it again if they get the opportunity. It's time we do what's right. And if you want to do all the history on what Israel has done to the Palestinians and what they've done to the U.S. liberty, it'll get you thinking maybe a little bit different. If not, I guess we might as well put up with what we got. We need to get rid of these two leaders and do the right thing. And as long as they're in power, nothing's going to change. And my president, what he's got in power, what does he have in common with these two men? We can think about that and wonder why we're where we're at in the United States today. The crazy man has spoken, and that's it.